So where this starts for us, we're using this for data collection in the Workforce Data Initiative, where we're working with training and education institutions. So what we've done is set up a GitHub repository where we define some specs for files that we expect to be uploaded. And so this is what the login page for Basket looks like. It has a link right to those data specifications and detailed documentation. And there's two kinds of accounts. There's administrator accounts and there's just uploader accounts. If I am an administrator and I log in, this is what I see. A page where I can immediately just upload files. And I select a file type, participants, credentials, and programs in this case, but you can define N of them. And then I pick a file from a chooser or drag and drop it in here, a participant's data file. And then I hit validate. And what I see then is the results of that validation process. And here you can see I've done 4 uploads of this participant data in the past. And the first one was great, it succeeded, but all the other 3 bombed out. Why is that? Well, if I click details over on the right side for any of these uploads, I can see exactly what went wrong. So for this participant's data file that I uploaded, it's got some issues. It's missing a couple columns. It's missing the program name that the participant was enrolled in. It's missing the program ID. In some cases, these columns might be missing altogether. In some cases, they might just be named poorly so that it can't be resolved. However, I didn't get everything wrong. So I see red check marks by the expectations that were met and green ones by the ones that were not. So I go to checkpoints. There I see the 3 file types that I can upload. And I see the notification settings so that I can get my email sent to me either when a validation and an upload succeeds or every time that anybody even tries to upload something. This is what the checkpoints or expectations looks like for the participants file. This first column here, one of the things that I care about when it comes to participants in an educational program is when they entered. So there's 4 expectations associated with this date of entry field. The first is just that it exists. The second is that it be formatted as a string and that that string be recognizable as a date. And then finally, I expect there to be no missing values because everybody who enters as a participant enters at some date. And it goes way beyond this. You can actually set distributions that you expect, statistical distributions. You can set sets of acceptable values. And so that's how this workflow really plays out from the administrator side. You can go through, take some sample data that you've gotten in the past, test it out, make sure that all these things work and that it's catching the most common errors that you see and have to iterate on with your data submitters over and over again. Now, the user management is set up in a fairly straightforward way here. There's the concept of organizations and the concept of users. Users can be valets, which is the way of saying uploaders, basically. And finally, let's say that you find yourself, hypothetically, in the position where the deadline for data submission is about 3-4 days ago, and you've got a deadline coming up yourself, and you really are just sitting there hitting refresh on your browser, waiting for the data to come in. I'm sure none of us have ever had that experience, but if you have, you might be pleased to know that you can set up notifications, email notifications, Slack notifications, etc., to find out the instant that validated data shows up in your inbox. So, you know, maybe that makes the whole process just incrementally a little bit less stressful.